So I think Russell's the starter. I wrote this little piece about Russ yesterday. It's got a good bit of comments. So I'm going to read my piece on Russ and why I think he should be the starter, and then we're going to get the comments and I'll react to the comments. It's going to be a new thing for my channel. This might be a real long video too because there's a lot of comments. And this is, I mean, ESPN wants to talk about this every day. Starting quarterback battle, starting quarterback battle. So I'm going to really break this down, bro. Like, I'm really going to break it down. These stand out the most to me as who should be the starting quarterback. Pittsburgh Steelers beat writer came out with a great article about this quote quarterback battle, and this is what I took most from it. Over 12 NFL seasons, Wilson has started 188 of 195 possible regular season games. During that span, and he averaged 27.8 touchdowns and 8.8 interceptions per. Last year, he passed for 26 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. He was voted to the Pro Bowl 9 times. He won a Super Bowl, and that's pretty much what I've been saying. And what I've been to if the Seahawks would have just given the ball to the guy they call beast mode on the 1 yard line. Russell Wilson is a now this is me. Russell Wilson's a great manager, a great one of the greatest dual threat quarterbacks in league history. If it wasn't for not handing the ball off, his legacy is even greater. Wilson is chasing legacy at this point in his career. I feel he came to Pittsburgh for a reason. The reason being legacy and history. He has talked about playing another 5 years in the NFL. Labrolia even attested to Wilson having the first man in the building and the last man to leave work effort. He claimed that it earns him credibility with the entire team. Wilson came in and threw a few checks in the preseason game. Justin Fields was playing like it was the last chance at winning a job. Fields couldn't even muster one touchdown drive against a practice squad defense. Wilson has a 17-game mentality. He didn't care about this game. This game is and was everything to Justin Fields. He felt at his opportunity. He had the entire second half and part of the second quarter and couldn't produce one touchdown drive. Wilson has and continues to hold pole position, in my opinion, for a reason. Remains in control of this race. He's a veteran leader who will bring more consistency to an offense over a 17-game season. So there you go. I mean, 27 touchdowns. Those are pretty good stats. Solid. You know he's not going to turn the ball over. You know what he brings. He's bringing consistency to the Pittsburgh Steelers offense. That's what he brings. More consistency than Justin Fields. My opinion. You're making an excuse for Wilson. Justin looked better than Russ when he was the starter. Justin is more dynamic. He never played in a situation as good as the Seahawks. Also, even in Russell's worst season, it wasn't a lack of talent. It was bad coaching and terrible quarterback play. They had good pieces all over the offense and had an excellent defense. Sounds like you're actually making a ton of excuses for Fields. And you need to get a hearing check. I just explain why Fields is better because he's more dynamic. That doesn't make any because he's had 3 seasons and he's not even thrown for 4,000 yards. I mean, Russell Wilson has played 12 years in the NFL and Fields has not had one season like Russ. Not one. So what, we're gonna go off one preseason game and he looked a little bit better than Russell in his one quarter of the preseason that didn't even matter, that's irrelevant, that he didn't even care about. We're going to judge that and say Justin Fields is better over a career like Labriola said. He's been to 9 Pro Bowls, has won a Super Bowl, has been to 2 Super Bowls. Like, dude, you got to go off resume and what they've actually done in the NFL. What has Justin Fields done? Nothing. You could say, oh, Russell had more better situation. Maybe he did, but it is what it is. He still had way better seasons than Justin Fields. All right. And Justin Fields is playing against twos, threes, guys that aren't even be on the roster and still can't even muster a touchdown drive. Okay. So we're going to go off of, oh, he made a couple good runs against the practice squad defense and looked a little bit better in one preseason game. Over his whole career, Russell Wilson, 12 years of doing it, is looking way better and is more consistent and consistently brings you 27 touchdowns and only 8 interceptions a year and close to 4,000 yards. I mean, seriously, bro. That's all the Steelers needed out of Kenny Pickett last year was 3,500 yards and 20 touchdowns and 10 interceptions, and they probably would have won the division. They couldn't even get that out of their quarterback play. Russell brings that and more. He brought like 3,700 yards, 26 touchdowns, and only 8 interceptions. So to me, Justin Fields is Kenny Pickett 2.0. And another big thing, and we'll get into it, but we'll read some of these comments. I'm so sick and tired of hearing how great Michael Tomlin is. They never said he'd have a losing season. 500 is not a winning season to me. He needs to go. He sucks as head coach. Okay, this wasn't even about Mike Tomlin, but okay, skip that. To all the knuckleheads saying Fields outplayed Russ, Russ went 8 of 10, with one being a drop by Jefferson and the other probably being a catch by Pickens, which, if they allowed it, would have been his numbers look much better. If he was 10 for 10, yeah, they would have looked. Russ will be fine. He's mobile enough. Fields is still doing the same things he always did in Chicago. He holds the ball forever, is indecisive, and then runs. Sometimes he throws successfully once he starts running. He is a capable backup, but he simply cannot command an offense, and he has more than enough opportunity. I like him in certain situations this season, but he's not going to turn into a good quarterback. That's why we got him for nothing. Wilson certainly isn't the long-term answer, but if we can win with him, it won't just be because of him. A lot more concerned about Roger Jones and O-line. That's exactly it. Like the Steelers are not don't are not, and the offense is not built to have a great quarterback right now. It's pretty much a run heavy offense. We need a game manager right now, and that's what Russell Wilson is a game manager. Fields is not a game manager. We need ball protection. Fields does not bring ball protection to this offense. We cannot have turnovers on this offense. It needs to be simple, meat and potatoes. You ain't gonna like it. It ain't gonna be pretty offense. It just ain't. And let me get to the point of he says Fields is never going to develop into a good quarterback. I mean, that's what I've seen. A lot of Kenny Pickett 2.0 with better athleticism. Because if the first read ain't there, he's scrambling and bambling around in a pocket like Kenny Pickett and looking to try to do too much. And then if it's not there, he can run it and actually make a play with his legs, unlike Kenny Pickett, or fumble the ball. It didn't happen last game, but it happened the first two games, and you can say those ones weren't his fault. But still, the fact that he's running around in the pocket like that, that's why he has so many fumbles in his career. Jones was trash that game. Basically, the line gave him no time. The big thing to see with Wilson is he going to do the little things to win games. His last throw was a check down, but it got us in the field goal range. Fields almost threw interceptions and missed a guy wide open in the end zone. Exactly. Russell does the little things better. He's not going to miss a guy wide open in the end zone. He's going to take what the defense gives him. And then when the defense actually gives him one of those big throws down the field, he's going to take it. That's what I said in another video. That 8 of 10, if you give him 30 reps, is going to be 21 of 30, 22 of 30, 23 of 30, 24 of 30, 25 of 30. That's the type of consistent. You never know what you're going to get with Fields. Fields might go out there one game and run for 150 yards and rush for 3 touchdowns. And then the next game, rush for 50, have 2 fumbles and 2 interceptions, and just terrible. It doesn't get anything going. Russell Wilson's going to give you a consistent 225 a game and 2 touchdowns, accurate, just easy meat and potatoes football. He's just better. You evidently saw a different game than me. I saw Wilson standing like a statue, getting sacks and missing 5 yard passes, while Fields was breaking tackles. Like this is a funny comment. I already read this one earlier. Some of the replies are funny because this article is 100% accurate. This dude's agreeing with me. Missing 5 yards passes, he completed 8 of 10, and that one dude said Van Jefferson missed it. Why Fields never scored a single point either. Exactly. He never scored a single point either. And he's the backup right now. Fields is the one that has to do something extraordinary for especially against backups in the fourth quarter in the preseason for me to sit there and say, "Hey, I'm going to take the job away from a 12-year veteran who's won a Super Bowl that has 9 Pro Bowls." Like he has to do something extraordinary and he hasn't. He just hasn't. So I don't understand like all these so-called ESPN analysts making him better. It's just crazy to me. There's nothing he's done that makes him better than Russell Wilson at this point. You could say, yeah, he has more upside. That's one of the big things. But the Steelers decided not to exercise his $25 million option. Why? Because he's not that good, and we're not going to pay him $25 million, and he's not worth $25 million. Okay? So he's not in the long term plans. Both of these quarterbacks are on 1 year deals. So we're not looking to the future. It's not like we drafted Justin Fields and it was like, oh, he's our project. We can turn him into a great quarterback, blah, blah, blah. He's not on contract. All right. So the Steelers don't have time to make a project out of Justin Fields and pay him $25 million to on a project quarterback because that's what Justin Fields is. He's still a project at the quarterback position. Russell Wilson is already the complete veteran, can do it all type of quarterback, knows where to go with the ball, knows how to decipher defenses, knows how to read defenses, and has been there and has done that. Has been a 9-time Pro Bowler in the NFC. Ben didn't even make 9 Pro Bowls in his career, bro. So Russell Wilson, dude, he has a couple more 4,000 yard seasons, bro. Like he's nice. He's saying he can play 5 more years in his league. I don't know about all that, bro, but he probably could play at least another 3, and he's a perfect quarterback to bridge the gap until the Steelers can find their next franchise quarterback. Because let's face it, like dude said earlier in his comments, I don't think Justin Fields is ever going to pan out and be a great quarterback. I mean, he's still young. He's 23 and shit. I mean, he still has a chance. I'm not going to go that, but I mean, come on, man. The Steelers ain't got time for that. The Steelers need to put in whatever quarterback gives him the best opportunity to win on Sunday, week 1 in the NFL. And, week 1 in the NFL, we play Atlanta. And that's who I'm going with, man. The Steelers can't turn it over against Atlanta. They have a good offense. The Steelers are going to have to get out and get a lead early against Atlanta and then not lose it. See, Russell Wilson's the type of quarterback, once he got a lead, he ain't going to lose it. He's going to protect it. He's going to sustain drives. He's not going to turn it over. He's going to dink and dunk and just move the ball and keep the opposing offenses off the field. That's how you beat the Joe Burrows. That's how you beat the Patrick Mahomes is by keeping their offenses off the field, making them one-dimensional, getting an early lead, and then with the highest paid defense in the league, you can start getting after it. You can start getting more aggressive on defense, and then if you start forcing turnovers on defense, it's over. And then with Najee, and then when Jalen gets healthy, that ground and pound offense can just run them out of the game. This team cannot judge or coach or talent. Mason seemed to be the best choice, but sat the entire season. You draft all these stud linemen, you don't play them at their positions or sit them behind subpar player. This team is not going anywhere with leadership and the decision makers. Just stating facts. Well, I mean, this comment was about Russell Wilson. He's talking about like last year with Broderick Jones. I want to keep my video on point. Like I can address that, but I want to keep my video on point. Keep in mind, I got to get better at reading comments. Keep in mind, no teams. This is like the second time I ever did something like this with OBS. These videos will get better, but yeah, you will. Well, you can. Wilson might hold the pole position, but the lack of competition the Steelers have given Wilson has put in a low-level NFL situation. At this point in all the Steelers quarterbacks, they are the best maybe backups. The Steelers and Tomlin brought in a lot of players from other teams for a quick fix, and it may lead to the end of Tomlin as a Steeler. I mean, Tomlin just got an extension. Are people blind? What did Phil do? His highlight of the game was a broken tackle pass that was almost intercepted and was caught off a ricochet. The O line was horrible, and Russ didn't give time at all. When they did give time, the receivers weren't open. It's more than just a quarterback play that was bad yesterday. That's true. I mean, Buffalo was running it with ease. Didn't have no time in the pocket. Steelers don't really have any receivers. So, I mean, the offense has not looked good. He's past his prime and needs to retire and let young players have the money and do something for this team. He had a great career, but it's finished. Who are you to say that? You never know, and he isn't past his prime. It's all about group cohesion. Just saying, hey, we should have kept Mason, but dynamics change with new people. Once you were okay, you're entitled to opinion. I love Russ, but he's had his day and his best years are behind him. Justin could be the quarterback of the future, though. He's 10 years younger and has a cannon for an arm and mobility that Russ never had. Because Justin is one of the fastest and most adored quarterbacks in NFL history. Justin needs to work on his reads and his timings. Give him a chance. I'm not going to say that's not true. I've said it already that he has definitely more upside, but the Steelers ain't looking for a project. And Russell Wilson's, then they're both on one. So there's the business aspect of it. If you draft Justin Fields to, do something like that, and we're like, okay, we're going to take on this project here, let's do it. But he's not on contract. If you're going to have a project quarterback, you're going to draft him as a rookie and then that you have him on his rookie contract, a 5-year rookie contract, to where you got 5 years to work on this project and develop this project. We don't have 5 years to develop this project. We got Russell Wilson as the starting quarterback, and then somehow, some way, he fell in our lap as a 6th round pick, and somehow, some way, Omar Khan was able to finesse a 3rd round pick out of Philly for Kenny Pickett. So that's all it really was, man. You get a quarterback of that caliber for a 6th round pick who the Bears spent a 1st round pick on, sure. You make that deal. That's an easy deal to make, but that doesn't mean he's in the future. And the Steelers are willing to make a project out of Justin Fields. And then maybe next year, if we do get him to sign with us for a 3-year cheap deal as a quarterback or a backup quarterback, maybe we'll decide to, okay, we'll project this guy. We're going to draft the guy. And then, we'll go from there. Or, sign another veteran. Who knows? Let him compete. The question is, which quarterback do you want to be your go to when the starter doesn't work out? The answer to me is for Russell Wilson. I'd rather start Fields and see if things go well. If it doesn't, you put veteran Russell in and give yourself more of a chance than you have Fields if he just doesn't have it. Because if you do it the other way around, neither quarterback can move the offense down to Fields. Fields, you look like a terrible coach. You look like a terrible coach if you go with Justin Fields and then it doesn't work. If you decide to say, "Hey, I'm going to go with Justin Fields, a guy that doesn't have any his career could never sniff Russell Wilson's career ever at this juncture." And then if you go with that guy whose career could never sniff Justin Fields' career or Russell Wilson's career, and then he sucks, and then you go back to Russell Wilson and then Russell Wilson looks great, then that's terrible. You're not looking to switch quarterbacks. That's the thing. You don't want to switch quarterbacks. You want your one quarterback to be the quarterback all year long. And that's hopefully Russell Wilson. But you have Justin Fields. I'm not saying he can ever not get pulled. If there's 4 games in the NFL, if we start out 1-3, you're going to Justin Fields. 2-2, I don't know. It depends how bad Russell Wilson's been playing if you're sitting at 2-2. But I really doubt even if you're sitting at 2-2, you go to Justin Fields. It's just the career, it's the stat, it's everything that comes along with it. And if he's really that washed up, I mean, he had a better season than him last year. If he's that washed up, why do you have a better season than Fields last year? That's another thing. These comments amazing. This article, although very truthful, is nothing but common sense. Wilson will be the day one starter as he should be. I'm not saying he's going to be the future of the team, but he obviously gives the best chance to win right now. Plus, Fields can only benefit from watching and studying. Hopefully, next season he could be the quarterback we all want him to be. That's if we get him on contract. That's the biggest thing. We don't have him on contract. So why are we going to sit here and make a whole big project out of Justin Fields, who the Steelers only have on contract for 1 year? Mason Rudolph, nice going, Tomlin. Like that has anything to do with Tomlin, man? That has nothing to do with Tomlin. Tomlin didn't sign Mitchell Trubisky to all that money. I mean, come on, man. I could have seen this Mason Rudolph. Everybody wanted Mason Rudolph out of town. Ridiculous. Now there we got all Mason Rudolph fans. Nobody wanted Mason Rudolph. Outside of me, I'm the only one that thought Mason Rudolph was good until he saved the goddamn season last year and everybody hopped on his dick. Hell out of here, man. We had no chance to see our quarterbacks play thanks to the horrible O line. We'll see later. This was an offensive line disaster. Practice games preseason are used to identify those issues now. Wilson didn't have time to drop back, let alone look down the field. Fields was playing against the C team, and the O line still couldn't block. Sheesh, looking forward to Steelers balling out this season now. I mean, TJ didn't dress. There's a lot of starters that didn't dress in that game, so it'll be different on week one when all the starters are in there. It'll be different. We'll see. We'll see. Last year, the Steelers were great in the preseason and struggling in the regular season. This year, we clearly struggling in the preseason, so maybe this is a sign that we'll do well in the regular season. I don't see how that translates, man. I really don't. So they threw Ben out because he was too old, but Wilson had cement boots and sacked 3 times. Just throwing that out there. Can we say that franchise is that is the woe? What are you trying to say that we're woke? That's why we signed Russell Wilson? Ben making $50 million, bro, a year, and it's not like they threw him out. He was in the last year of his contract, and they were going to throw him out for his price tag. Given the fact that the situation was totally different too. The Steelers were in such salary cap debt at the time when Ben Year was on the last year of his contract. So it was either Ben, we're going to cut you to free up cap space, or you're going to take a pay cut and you're going to give some back. And he did. And then Ben decided to retire after that year. He didn't have nothing left, bro. He just didn't. And we can sit here and say Wilson doesn't have nothing left. He may or may not have nothing left. But the big difference between then and now is Ben was getting paid 50 million, 40 million, whatever it was. Wilson, we're paying him nothing. Nothing. He's a veteran and has just the stripes, bro. The start over Fields, period. It's not shouldn't even be a debate. Shouldn't even be a debate. But ESPN is on this shit every day. So I guess I'm gonna be on this shit every day. And obviously people are so engaged. I get all these comments. That's all they care about is the shit that's not even relevant. That shit that's been already been addressed by the head coach. I mean, it's dumb. I don't know if either of those guys are good or not in the first place. That line is terrible in front of them. That number one draft pick they moved up to get needs more work than is getting manhandled. Absolutely terrible. But if neither of those guys ball out this year, the Steelers are paying less for both of these guys than they would have had to pay either Rudolph or Trubisky. That's true. Then they have a great shot at drafting a quarterback next year. Win-win on the cheap. Let's face it, Rudolph isn't a franchise quarterback, and for sure Trubisky isn't. So why do they want to keep them when you get that win-win on the cheap? Yeah, I agree. I made a post about that today. Like I made a post about that. Honestly, Mason, like we can go up to that too, since that segues me into another post. Maybe I can read some of the comments off of that. Let's see about Mason Rudolph. And since we get so many Mason Rudolph comments, it didn't do that great. The Mason Rudolph post. Where's it at? Here it is. The Titans surge past the Seattle Seahawks to win 16-15 in Nissan Stadium on Saturday, improving to 2-0 in the 2024 NFL preseason. Rudolph and fellow backup quarterback Malik Willis rotated throughout the game, with Willis throwing for 116 yards and an interception on a 12 for 16 passing day. Rudolph, however, proved to be the hero, going 10 for 17, 125 yards and a touchdown, leading the offense 42 yards in the last minute 55 to set up a winning field goal by undrafted Brandon Narvison. Primetime Mason Rudolph was the guy I wanted Pittsburgh to move forward with. The offseason they drafted Kenny Omar, got an A plus 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 grade this offseason because of Justin Fields and Russell Wilson essentially fell into his lap. It's really hard to grade an offseason for a GM, especially when the season hasn't even started yet. The Steelers fans are sounding off in a loud way over not bringing Mason back, a guy they formerly moved out of town for a media sensation duck. So this is what I wrote. That's funny because it's true. All these Mason fanboys, I'm telling you, I was the only one saying Mason was good, and everybody was saying I was crazy. Have you seen the game? Have you seen it like these dudes saying to me? Have you seen the game about Justin Fields and Russell Wilson? Nah, I seen Russell Wilson's a better quarterback. Yes, I don't care what the stats say. Seen how he plays and goes through his reads and his checks. He's a better quarterback. Someone even said it's the biggest mistake of the offseason. Yes, somebody said it's the biggest mistake of the offseason letting Rudolph go, which is crazy to me. If we were already declaring not bringing back a reindeer the biggest mistake of the offseason, Colin should have had an F grade and fired effective immediately. Stop drinking the Kool-Aid. The Pittsburgh Steelers are far better off with Russell Wilson starting at quarterback than any of the latter during the post-Ben era. Justin Fields isn't even competition, and Russell Wilson is going to show why he's a Hall of Famer this year. And that's just it too. Russell Wilson's basically building a Hall of Fame career, but what? Oh, Fields has more upside. Yeah, upside's irrelevant. You're both, like I've been saying, both of these quarterbacks are on 1 year deals. It's whichever dude gives you the best chance to win, and that's the dude. If you don't think it's Russell Wilson, you're just lying to you. So you're drinking that Kool Aid, bro. Straight up. Mm. Wilson is not the guy. We would have been better off with Rudolph and see. That's the whole point of the article. Is we're dude, just put the Kool Aid down, bro. They should never go with him after how great he played when he became the starter late in the season. Shame on my team for such terrible decision making. How's that terrible decision making, man? See, let's see what people are saying to this. He played well. Yeah. Oh, see, that's another thing. He put. Oh, thank you. See, look, this dude's coming through in the clutch, bro. Dwayne don't play. He played well against the injury-ridden Bengals, who aren't going to the playoffs. He played well against the non-playoff Seahawks, and basically, Najee had like one of the best games of the season. That he ran all over the Seahawks. We ran all over the Seahawks' horrible run defense. He played well against the Ravens' second and third string. We went back to reality and ran in a good team with that. Hey, straight. People forget circumstances. Hey, straight up, man. He had 6 years developed. 6 years gives you a sense of what someone is capable of. The teams he cruised on were playing second string or were great teams to begin with. I wouldn't say they ran him out of town. Pickett, they ran out of town. Pretty much. But Mason really never got an opportunity like Pickett got neither. He never really got a chance like going into like an off season to where it was like, yo, you're the guy, Mason. Mason pretty much got passed over for Kenny Pickett in a sense. Mason was still on his rookie contract the year we drafted Pickett. And we signed Mitchell Trubisky that year. So I'd say if anything, that's bad decision making. And that doesn't go on Mike Tomlin. That goes on Kevin Colbert for signing Mitchell Trubisky and drafting Kenny Pickett. Bad. That was bad. Bad last gifts. Kevin Colbert left the Steelers. So I always thought Mason was treated unfairly. If you claim to be this organization that is superior to others to treat players better than you did, Mason's still going to be a Steeler fan forever. I don't even know what that dude didn't even make no sense. Mason is the backup in Tennessee. He beat a bunch of guys who would be selling insurance cards and real estate in a few weeks, and the Steeler fans are losing their collective mind. Mason is just smoke and mirrors. I mean, if you can get a quarterback, it's like Russell Wilson, bro. We got Russell Wilson, bro. A Super Bowl winning quarterback who has been to 9 Pro Bowls. Mason Rudolph is like 27, 28, 29. He's basically in his prime. He's never had a prime. He was a never was, never been, never going to be. Mason Rudolph is going to be selling insurance here soon. Like literally, literally. That's what he is. He's a career backup. Maybe he'll start in Tennessee. Maybe he'll succeed. But he ain't got many years left either. Like literally, he's in his prime. He has to be 28, 29 years old now. I mean, he was drafted 6 years ago. So what? He's 21. Let's say he was 20 when he came in the league. So he's 26 now at the very least. So he's got to be 27, 28, 29, probably pushing 30. And he's done nothing in the league. Russell Wilson's 35 and he has 9 Pro Bowls and a Super Bowl and he's been to two. So give me the 35-year-old with a fucking way better resume than the 29-year-old that's done nothing. Nothing. Except beat 3 shit teams last year. It's preseason, people. Y'all remember when Kenny Pickett looked like Joe Montana last year in the preseason? There you go. Steelers won't even make the playoffs. Rudolph isn't on con. It's all on the coaching staff. They refuse to ever give him an actual fair shot. Wish him well. Here we go, Steelers. I mean, I don't think he ever got a fair shot.
I'll say that. We ran him out for a duck. I will say that. But they drafted quarterbacks over him, so that's not really on Tomlin who drafting and signing Mitchell Trubisky. So when the organization goes in that direction and says, "Hey, we're going to sign this quarterback for this much money," that's almost over Tomlin's head at that point, where it's like, "Yo, we got to go with this guy." The franchise invested in Kenny Pickett, so we got to go with Kenny Pickett, and that's what they tried to do, and it didn't work, and they traded him in the offseason, lickety split. It's ridiculous. Russell Wilson is a top grade game manager. Had they gotten rid of his fraud ass Tomlin years ago and gotten a game manager, I suggested this would not be an issue. This needs to be a losing season. It's like these people hate Tomlin so bad that they're rooting for the team to lose because, like, what you said we should have got this guy, so now we got to have a losing season because like these people just they're blinded by their own hate, dude. It's like some of these comments. I think I've covered a lot of these comments and I'm pretty much why Russell Wilson should be the starter over Justin Fields at this point. I mean, these do like seriously. It's like every goddamn day I have to get a fire Tomlin comment. And it won't even be about Mike Tomlin, but I get a fire. This is why I make so many Tomlin videos, bro. Because literally, I won't even be talking about Mike Tomlin, but just a Mike Tomlin hater comes up out of the woodwork and he's like, yo, what's up, bro? I'm here to hate on Tomlin. That has nothing to do with nothing. I'm just here to hate on Tomlin. So, I don't know. Make sure you hit the like. Make sure you hit the subscribe. And this is 32 minutes.